Breathe in, breathe out. We can do this. Hey guys, this is the Reaper, and today we're going to review Boruto Episode 1, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. We start off several years in the future with a late teen to early adult Boruto, and a supposed friend or at least an acquaintance with a complicated history. Now I don't have a problem with this method of storytelling, of going into the future to foreshadow things that are going to happen. I do, however, find it to use a bit underwhelming here. Just looking into the future a bit, we know that this character that Boruto is fighting won't be introduced for quite some time. And considering that we don't actually have that much of a connection to Boruto at this point, it kind of takes away a lot of the tension I believe that they're trying to instill with this clip. It would probably have been better if they used this intro at the beginning of an episode where this Kawaki character was going to be introduced, or maybe at the end of the first season that he appears. And as for the destruction of the Leaf Village, well, Pain did it better. Now, with that being said, I'm going to try and limit the amount of future knowledge I use to critique these episodes. It's kind of my way of pulling my punches, because come on, it's Boruto. It's not a fair fight. We open with Boruto doing some free running with Shigadai, kind of giving us straight away a best friend type dynamic shared between them, as Shigadai is always getting caught up in Boruto's shenanigans. We kind of get the idea that Boruto is somewhat of a troublemaker, a bit of a knucklehead, if you will. Wonder where we've seen that before. Boruto and Shigadai's friendship is kind of a nod to how close Naruto and Shikamaru have become, seeing that we saw at the end of Shippuden. So naturally their children would mirror their friendship and their names and their appearance and their fighting style. And after Shigadai pieces out like a boss, we see a new character who's being roughed up by some bullies. And wouldn't you know it, Boruto comes in to save the day. And wouldn't you know it, Boruto uses shadow clones. But Naruto did it better. Afterwards, the two establish a rapport, and Boruto talks to Denki, telling him not to let others push him around. But he basically immediately contradicts himself, revealing his attitude has less to do with moral fiber and more to do with spite towards his dad. Denki actually has potential to be a pretty interesting character. We have not seen somebody who's in his position as of yet. We learned that Denki is going to be entering the academy the same time as Boruto. However, it seems he doesn't even know some of the most basic concepts of ninjutsu. From the past series, we know that ninjas began training at a much younger age, with many younger students even having a good grasp on some basic jutsu such as shuriken techniques. That being said, it might be interesting to see the dynamic that Denki has with these more experienced ninja, as he's essentially starting from so far behind. Also, his implied tech savviness might play a role, forming some interesting character dynamics, so it might be interesting to see what they plan on doing with this character, as well as an individual who is studying ninjutsu as a means to become a more savvy business associate. To be frank, Boruto Episode 1 has very clear first episode vibes. By that meaning it's pretty bland. Now, I'm not going to flag this episode for boredom, just because it is the first episode. In the beginning, it can be quite difficult to introduce characters while still making the story interesting. I will say that since they're building off of Naruto, they don't have to take as much time with their world building, but we can still cut them some slack. Don't ever say Reaper isn't a nice guy. So the next day, as Boruto is heading to school, as he's late for the first day of the academy, he sees Denki walking by, and he gets a glimpse of this strange aura surrounding him. So this is where we get our first glimpse of Boruto's new power. Given that there have been so many different eye-based powers in Naruto. It would have been nice to see something a little bit different. However, anything that separates Naruto from Boruto is a good step, and to see something that's different and supposedly positive in Boruto is something that we definitely need to see. Now, there are a million different reasons of why Boruto would have such a power. This could be a result from mixing Hyuga and Uzumaki blood. It could be a result of the Nine Tails Jinchuriki influence. It could be a combination of any factors we know, or it could be something completely different that we don't know. The point here is that it seems like Boruto himself does not know about this power, so it's going to be a mystery that we're going to solve that will unfold in later episodes. So after a pretty intense push from his father, Denki has decided to turn the tables on the bullies in a very over-the-top revenge scheme, as he plans on crashing two company trains into each other with the bullies and himself on board. Boruto sneaks onto the train and sees that Denki is not acting like himself. He manages to talk Denki down, and through some shenanigans they are able to get the bullies onto a safe train as the two proceed to the academy. Now, I'm not going to nitpick the rescue scene. If Boruto is really as bad as I say it is, then we really don't have time to nitpick little details. And that's pretty much the end of the episode. Like I said, it's a pretty standard first episode kind of vibe. So be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and... Wait, what? They're still rolling? Why? What's going on? What are they? Oh. Oh. They could have just stopped. They could have ended the episode. Why did they... Alright, here we go. So they crashed the train into the Hokage mountain, specifically on Naruto's face. And here is where we get the points that make Boruto an unlikable character. First, let's back up from what we know about Naruto. Now, if you're new to the Naruto series, you might see something like this and wonder, okay, well, am I watching a slapstick anime? And by that, I mean a type of anime where things just happen randomly, where people do completely outlandish things, and it's just part of the normal, everyday antics associated with normal life. However, we see by the reaction of everybody else that this is not something that's deemed normal or acceptable. So we have to wonder why in this world where this type of behavior is completely unacceptable do we have Boruto seem so unaware of his actions. So we're supposed to believe Boruto, someone who supposedly of sound mind, saw two options. One being a few minutes late to the first day of school, and two, crashing a train into a national monument. And Boruto is going to choose option 2. And furthermore, not see any issue with that. In this case, the rationality of Boruto is just so far from realistic that it really takes away any kind of credibility that this character might have, as well as severely reducing his likability. What's worse is that, as Konohamaru stated, it doesn't even seem like Boruto is sorry for what he did. He put the lives of his fellow classmates in danger, he caused thousands of dollars worth of damage, he defaced a national monument, and he still cannot be convinced that what he did was wrong. Not even one shred of remorse. So this shows Boruto the character as unrealistic, irrational, unapologetic, and unaware. But for some reason, Denki decides that Boruto is somebody who needs to be idolized. Now, I know I said I wasn't going to jump too far into the future, but I will go ahead and touch on this note because this is going to be a reoccurring theme. But the fact that Boruto is somebody to be looked up to and to be respected is actually one of the things that really kills its credibility. One of the reoccurring themes in Naruto is when Naruto, the character, is able to get through to people with his dialogue. This ability has been coined Talk no Jutsu. I know that there are mixed feelings about this technique, but on a base level I can say that I personally respect it. The way Naruto talks, acts, and even carries himself can be somewhat optimistic. Some call it childish or even foolish. Because Naruto, the series, is filled with characters who have been beaten down by life, both friends and enemies, it can be easy to dismiss Naruto, the character's can-do attitude as naivete. And in truth, this is a common reaction characters have when they react to Naruto. Surely no one who has experienced the true hardships of life can talk with such hopeful conviction. And yet, this is exactly the case. We know Naruto was raised without parents, he endured loneliness and prejudice, he was ostracized and attacked by no fault of his own. He was abandoned by one of the few people he called a friend and had been involved in numerous life or death situations. He experienced betrayal and seen some of the ugliest outcomes of reality, and yet his spirit remained unbroken. It wasn't the fact that Naruto was too naive and inexperienced to understand the true nature of the world. It was that his determination was so great that he intended to achieve his goals, even if it meant smashing the rules of the world to pieces. It didn't matter if he would be branded a fool. It didn't matter if he had to endure hardship. Even if his body was torn to pieces, he would not let his dream be extinguished. Many more experienced characters in the series, including both Jiraiya and Tsunade, had to face the facts that they were being outdone by a child and question their own resolve. For some, it was a reminder that the dream is only truly over when you, the dreamer, decide to wake up. Now, jumping back to Boruto, with Denki looking in awe of Boruto, this needlessly reckless, irrational child who can't even take responsibility for his reckless actions. And we're supposed to be getting a similar feeling to how people looked at Naruto, the child of prophecy. While Denki is saying, amazing! He's so amazing! No. So Boruto gets a 2-week suspension from school. Denki's father pays for the damages caused by Boruto, and you can just tell it's all gonna be uphill from here. But that's all we got for you guys today. My name is D Reaper, and I'm a YouTuber for fun. Today's challenge, do something that makes you smile. Good luck, and I'll see you guys in the next one.